Hello everybody, and thanks for joining us. Today we're looking at the Star Wars Destiny deck box from Gillespie Games. The box itself is birch plywood. It will fit a single deck of cards, 2 sets of tokens, and 24 dice. Now I think 24 is probably more dice than you'll ever need for a single deck. In fact, this deck here only uses 13 dice, so I've got plenty of extra space there. And the top of the box can be used as a rolling tray. Now you can just glue the parts of this box together and start using it right off the bat, but I think the wood boxes look great with a stain put on them, so that's what we're going to do here. If you decide to stain yours, I would recommend staining the parts before assembly. That helps out because if you glue things together first, the stain doesn't like to stick where the glue is. So we're just rubbing the stain on, letting it penetrate a few minutes, and then rubbing off the extra. I let the stain dry overnight and then pop out all the parts. So small parts, or small spot on each part are left uncut to hold everything together during shipping. So you want to press right at these joints to pop out the parts. These parts here are for the lid. We're going to set those aside and work on the interior dividers first. It's a good idea to dry fit all these parts together once without glue to get familiar with how they all fit. So this is how the interior should look once assembled. And this compartment here at the top is where the tokens go, which is why there's no little cutouts for the dice there. Now once you're comfortable with how it all fits, you can start gluing it up. So wood glue works great, white glue works fine. You'll notice later on in the video I like to use a lot of masking tape during assembly. I like to actually stretch the tape across the joints to hold them while the glue sets. And any extra glue that squeezes out, you can just clean it up with a paintbrush wet with some water. Now once the dividers are glued together, you can glue them to the bottom plate. Again, you can use a damp paintbrush anytime you get too much glue squeezing out, just to clean it up. And once you're happy with all of that, you can start gluing on the box edges. One thing to watch out for here, the long sides are different. There's 2 different types there. One has these long pins that stick out for the lid hinge, so you want to make sure that you put this side on the edge that you want to have the lid hinge from. So they are reversible there, right or left. Once that's together, we'll assemble the lid. Now the main piece here is reversible, so you can put the logo on the inside or the outside of the box, depending how stealthy you want to be. I'm putting mine on the outside, so we're going to face that logo down during the assembly here. And one thing to watch out for here is the lid has 2 edges with holes in them for the hinge, and you'll only want to glue in one of those for now. And I know it's probably fairly obvious, but probably also worth pointing out that this last piece needs to be glued in place with the hinge tab inserted, because that needs to be, go over top of the hinge to actually operate before you glue it all together. And you'll see how that works here. You've got this second piece here goes over top, and there you go. So once you're comfortable with how that works, you can go ahead and glue it up. And once again, once you're happy with where it's situated, masking tape makes a great clamp, just stretching it across to hold the parts. And it doesn't take long for the glue to set. And once the glue dries, you pull off the tape, and you could call it finished, but we're going to go a little bit further with the finishing here. I'm going to sand all the edges smooth and round over any sharp corners, and for that I'm using 220 grit sandpaper, which does a good job there. Of course, this will sand off a lot of the stain on the edges, so we're going to touch up those spots where we sanded through the stain. And I also decided to paint the logo. I'm just using acrylic paints that you can find at any craft store. And as you can probably guess, the black covered pretty easily, but the red took probably 4 or 5 coats. And once I was happy with the logo, I sprayed on my final finish. And for that, I just used a clear shellac made by Zinsser, the Bullseye brand. And it's not the most durable finish in the world, but it does look nice, it dries quickly, and it doesn't smell too bad, so I like it for stuff like this. You notice it also makes the red color pop out a little bit better, which is nice. So yeah, easy. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.